What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Tide Talk, the Rhode Island FC podcast that's for the fans, by the fans. I'm your host, Matt, and whether you're a day one sicko or new to RIFC, you found your home. Every episode, we're breaking down the latest from Rhode Island FC, the matches, the moments, the players, and everything happening in and around the club. Before we dive in, make sure you're following Tide Talk across all social media platforms. We're on Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, and everywhere else you scroll. Stay locked in for updates, exclusive content, and all things Rhode Island FC. If you're joining us on YouTube, say hi and share your thoughts in the chat. And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts, please take a second to like, subscribe, and leave us a review. It helps us grow and bring you even better content each and every single week. All right, cozy up, Craig Bear, and let's dive into this one. I am joined by my good friend, Ryan. Ryan, what's going on, buddy?
Happy Monday, everybody.
Are you happy that we're doing it on Monday and not on the weekend? I had to ask.
I prefer Sunday, and I will say to the listener, and I apologize. This one was my fault, last minute switcheroo, but we're here, we're ready. But yeah, definitely like the Sunday. Sunday, it's a nice way to cap the weekend with all of our closest friends who like to call us names in the chat.
I just meant due to the sporting weekend you had. Are you glad, happy over another day of rest?
It was a very weird Saturday. Obviously, if people don't know, I'm an Arsenal fan, so tough start to the day. And I was like, what's going to make me feel better? My beloved Rhode Island FC, and boy, did they not.
Do you have a pen I can borrow to write that down? No, you don't have pens, right? I'm sorry. All right.
Fuck.
Neither here nor there. Hey, I've seen your team lose and my team lose on my birthday in the Champions League final, so I'm happy for it. It's all good. But yeah, good stuff. I was enthralled with Tucci in Italy on Nat Geo via Disney Plus, and I was very reluctant to pull away from that to watch Conno Ball. And I said that to you guys beforehand. And damn it, I hate when I'm right. Like that was specifically, the whole 90, but the first 45 was like, I don't even know what to call it. It was a really, really tough watch, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Hopefully, all of you with us had a good time watching it, maybe at the Guild or elsewhere. But just a season of inconsistencies remains consistent for this RIFC team.
Yeah, it sucks because I think Indy switched fields after the first season, and I've seen us play at that field twice now, and it has been two of the worst games I've ever watched. They've just been bad soccer games, so definitely going to be scarred. Maybe we should play wherever they're digging up all these dead bodies in Indy, according to our pal Bets.
Well, I said it to you guys during the game. I felt like the ball was taking such weird bounces and spins, like every time it did hit the turf, when you expected a high bounce, it was kind of a low sideways squib, and vice versa. And then obviously, like Pawtucket Jay says, we got struck by the big dick again, which did not help at all. But I don't think we made his life increasingly difficult or hard, I guess would be the better choice of words. But I thought some of the bounces and things that happened on that field were a little bit odd.
Yeah, it was just like a really strange game where I don't know how it was almost like the teams were playing were like taking turns playing offense versus defense. Like I've never seen a game that like any single attacking possession like ended with like a goal kick so many times in a row. Like it felt like they would just like take up the field and like either be like a very like nothing shot to the keeper, or it would be a goal kick, so the keeper was taking it out, and then vice versa. And it was just like there was nothing happening in the middle of the field. It was just like one team would go up, it would go out of bounds. The other team would go up, it would go out of bounds. It was a very, very weird watch. And it was one of those things like I watched it live the first night, and then I did a rewatch. And I was like, maybe I was just like harsh on it. And it's like, no, it just kept happening over and over.
No, it was pretty bad. It was almost, to your point of that, like an American football game without scoring, yes. With just like turnovers and not being able to convert in the red zone. Joe Burns says Dick is hard on the road. Dick was hard at home. We could not get past him. So I think that's just wanted to clarify that there for the people. Now, let's take a look at the starting 11. Koke Vegas in net, Aldair Sanchez, Hugo Baccarat, Grant Stoneman, Leo Alfonso, JJ Williams, Clay Holstad, Jojea Quizera, Nick Scardina, Karifa Yao, and Amos Shapiro Thompson. So our bench of Busy, Pity, Noah, Logan, Frank, Zach, and Jacob Castro. I think kind of what we were to expect going into this one, Ryan. It's been pretty much Kano's thing when a player is returning from injury. They start on the bench, make a substitute appearance before re-entering the starting lineup. So I think Frank is nearing his way back into the starting 11 for this team. But based on who was available and what we had, I think that was, kind of to be expected.
Yeah, well, I think the only surprise was Hamidi Diop being on the not being like in the starting 11, and then come to find out we saw him on the injury report after, because again, we were really tough on him in after the Portland game, but he did come back and have a much better game the following week. So tough that he then drops out with an injury, but other than that, interesting that Kano stuck with the Amos, Clay, Hugo midfield. Not that there was anything wrong with it the first time, but it definitely is a bit of a switch from what we were seeing earlier in the season.
I would have been surprised to have seen Pity come back in for Amos, during this one.
Yeah, I mean, and I think you or someone brought it up recently too. Like, the things we don't know is like some of these loan deals, like they might have some clauses in them and stuff too. So like that also might, if there's like a 50-50 decision, force Kano's hand. But yeah, I mean, other than that, like very interesting. Not interesting, actually. Very like exactly what you'd expect to see. And then the only other thing too is like you're mentioning Frank coming back, and it's great to see him back on the bench. But Scardina's been playing well the past couple of weeks, so we'll be interested to see how Kano manages the two of them. Do we see a little more Frank center back? There are options, which is good when the coach has decisions to make. It just will be interesting to see how he deploys it.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's pretty well said. Looking at early, kind of game state of this one, like you mentioned, it was kind of both teams going up and down, looking back and forth. There was a stretch where we were, the first 5 or so minutes, we were heavy on possession, and I thought, that means we're going to lose based on Ryan's recipe. But those tables shifted quickly. We did give the ball back to Indy, and we're not able to do anything with it or hit them on the counterattack or anything. And just listen to that awful Homer broadcast. Glaze Quizera, Glaze, every center back that was playing against JJ Williams. That was a tough watch. I said to you guys jokingly, and I'll say it on air, if RIFC and Kano don't want us to say anything bad about this team, we will totally put on some blue polos and be the home broadcast on ESPN for an RIFC game, and not do this show on Sunday or Monday night whenever it comes to be. But I think we can do a much better Homer broadcast than those two bimbos they had in Indy.
Listen, I didn't mind it. It's almost like it's like when you're watching the Celtics game and you're watching on like NBC.
If you're going to speak bad about Scal, I am going to end the stream right now.
No, I am very pro having a very Homer broadcast. I think it's fun. I think it's the way it should go. And yeah, no, we will do it. We will happily do it. I don't know how good it'll be, but we'll try our best. And
it'll be better than those two clowns. I'll say that.
I didn't mind them, but yeah, I mean, to your point about possession, I actually didn't realize this before the game that Indy averages like 39% possession per game. Which is crazy. They're also like very, very direct. They go long 53 times a game. They complete only 67% of their passes normally. So they're a team that's just like very direct. They do not want the ball at all. So that I didn't know that before the game, but it was really like, what is it? Movable force versus big object, whatever the hell the thing is. But like, very worried about my recipe immediately, but then we started giving them the ball. So I was like, all right, this works out. Didn't like that they had a shot on target directly off the kickoff, but other than that,
first 30 seconds of the game,
other than that, it was going okay.
Yeah, I mean, after watching a 25% possession performance earlier in the day by the team, I was expecting full Haram ball in action in this RIFC game, and it was pretty. And that was the term that the hometown heroes kept using was, it's such an even match. It's 50-50. There's 3 corners to 3. Look at this. It's the most even game we've seen played all season. And I think that was hysterical because I think if anyone was going to score in that first half, it was Indy 11.
Yeah, but I don't think they like didn't have any like big moments. Like, I mean, to your point about the half, like to me, it was a very boring half. Like the only notes I had were like, RIFC, we did a good job like getting back in transitional moments.
Mm.
The winger switch at the 20th minute mark. 26, I can't believe how weird this half is. There's almost zero transition, and then 35-minute winger switch back, and those are all the notes I took in the first half. That was it.
It didn't work. So the winger switch that worked last time that we were all excited about, did not.
I mean, people are only excited, number one, because it was a great goal by Kozera, but two, because they wanted to make fun of me. And, I would love to be wrong because I think it's crazy, but yeah, it was very funny that if you saw RIFC's predictions heading into the Champions League final, you can hear that Kano is a big fan of PSG, and the announcers kept like talking about RIFC switching stuff around. They're like, they're PSG, and I'm like, man, Kano's going to absolutely love to hear this back when they do the rewatch.
I know you tweeted out that you wanted to do a whole episode on that. Would you like to take your time now?
I do. Well, I mean, hey, if you thought a 5-0 game was coming against my boys in red and white, like, you've not watched soccer this year, because that's just not happening. But listen, they lost on PKs, it happens. But yeah,
but if you thought a toothless 1-0 RAFC loss on the road was coming, I could see that all day long.
We'll get into that as well.
All right, so let's take a look at first half stats for this one. It was, as those commentators alluded to, and Matt Hand says in the chat that he liked the Indy broadcasters. They seem to have more knowledge than some others. No one is as good as our guy Sean St. Jacques, though. It's because he listens to Tide Talk. He knows where to go. These guys did not listen to Tide Talk ahead of it, but big shout out to our guy SSJ. So first half stats include that 50-50 possession share. Indy with 5 shots, RI with 9, 3 shots on target for RFC to just the 1 for Indy, 81% passing accuracy for Indy to 79 for Rhode Island, 4 fouls to 2, and 4 corners to 3. Any other big thoughts on the first 45, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, it really just felt like two teams feeling each other out completely. No one really had a big chance or really a clear shot. Move on to the second half. I mean, that's kind of it.
Yeah, that's it. So when we move on to the second half, unfortunately, we have to look 10 minutes in and what got things started and gave Indy 11 the 1-0 lead.
Brinks Tires USL Cup play. Scuffs that one a bit, but oh my, what a touch, and Rendon just can't miss. It is time to cue the smoke in Indianapolis in minute number 55. He didn't just chip the keeper, he chipped the entire defense.
Unbelievable.
And Indy a goal to the good in minute number 55.
What a touch. I mean, beautiful ball, first of all, by Quinn. Action in front of the goal you'll see here. And Rendon pulls back. He pulls back and then just gets a one-touch inside of the right foot. I mean, what a goal. Goodness gracious. That's fantastic. And he hits it going opposite direction, side panel, upper 90. No chance for Vegas on that one. What a great goal by Rendon.
Yeah, so the announcers give it, I think, pretty good justice on that. The degree of difficulty going the opposite direction, flicking it across while airborne, that's just a hell of a finish. It's a really nice corner, but it's also, and I believe you said it in our chat during the game, it's Aldair Sanchez marking their taller striker on a corner kick. Make it make sense, Ryan.
Yeah, it's really weird. I feel like growing up, like, it was very much like you almost defended on set pieces by height. Like, it was like tall guy, take the tall guy, and then move on down the list. But like in professional settings, I feel like you just don't see that as much. And it always confuses me when you see like the giant center back marked up on like the fullback or one of their wingers or something. So that was strange. Especially like Aldair's like 5'8" listed at, and I think that guy's listed at like 6'2", 6'4". So like a really big mismatch there. Obviously he doesn't use his head. He flicks it on him, which is a great play by him, but kind of crazy. Like, I didn't realize that we are now 17th in the league in set piece goals conceded, and they're first in set piece goals scored. So, if there was a weakness, potentially maybe Indy was going to target that. Another crazy thing, I didn't realize that guy in 2024 played in USL League One, and he was in the team of the year as a defender. And now he's playing as a forward for Indy. I guess he kind of played all over the place, but he was in the team of the year as a defender. So, yeah, just a fun fact. But I mean, really the main problem here is it's now our nightmare scenario where RAFC is down a goal and we don't come back from that.
Right. And I think the broadcasters kept talking about, hello, RAFC fans, just so you know, Indy scores goals first, but they always concede first. And we've you've had multiple slides on here throughout this season. Basically, once we concede first, we are fucked.
No, they were saying that in Portland too. The guy, one of like the staff who was at the top, he's like, "Oh, you guys are fine." He's like, "I don't know if your goal is going to come in the 82nd or 88th or 92nd minute, but it's coming." And I was like, "No. You don't, you don't know who you're." It's like, yeah, maybe you do that to all the other teams in the league, but not us, buddy, not us.
Not us. And then after the goal, with some substitutions that were made, I do think we did have a better kind of grasp on the game. We saw Leo come in for Pity come in for Leo, Noah come in for Amos, Frank come in for Aldair, good old Logan Dorsey for Nicky the Fish, and Busy for Hugo. But I think once the subs came on, we did start, kind of putting the pedal down a little bit and getting the ball more in their attacking third.
Yeah, I mean, we were trying. I thought it was very interesting that when Pity and Noah came in, Noah was the one staying more central versus Pity on the wing. We've seen that 2 games in a row now. So just a note, nothing really came of it. But the one thing that was interesting is once we brought on Frank and Dorsey, we saw us go back to kind of that back 3 that we saw year 1 mostly with Quizera and Noah at wingback. My issue is while we were, I guess, attacking more, it was just like cross. Like there was just no variation to it. Yeah, I mean, we put in 22 crosses in the second half alone. Like it was just, that's all we did. And quite frankly, none of them were particularly dangerous. So, while and I think especially if you read Timmy's player ratings, someone to call out too was Hugo, who I think really started pouring the momentum. If we did anything in the middle of the pitch, it was him kind of driving through, which we've seen him do before. But other than that, it was kind of get it out to the wings and hope they do something. And unfortunately, the only thing that they were really doing was getting it on their strong foot and crossing it in.
Yeah, that's a good point. And then that was very reminiscent, I think, of season 1 where we played the ball out wide and looked to kind of lump it in and hope to find JJ or Chico on an island and, very much could not do it for long stretches. But I do think we went for it with those subs, except for going back to pulling on another defender, although I don't know what else we really could have done at that point. But just could not get and I know we'll have the final stats and all that, but could not get the big chances and, higher XG things. And, you had a really good point. So I'd like you to kind of elaborate on it. I don't know if you have it saved for later, feel free, but the gamification of XG.
Oh, I have it saved for later.
All right. We'll come back to that, but I do think that is a very good one.
For my penance for having to postpone last night, I did make slides. So stay tuned.
Good stuff. He doesn't have pens, but he has pennants. So
yes.
All right. All right, full-time stats for this one. XG was RIFC with 1.82 to just the 0.83 for Indy. RIFC with 54% possession of 46 for Indy. 20 shots to 8, 6 on target to 2, 0 big chances for either team. 74% passing accuracy for Indy to 80 for RIFC. 6 fouls to the Indy, 9 for RI, and 5 corners to R6 for them. So any other big thoughts on this one and how it played out, Ryan?
Actually, let's see. So one, I mentioned already, I've seen us play in that field twice, and it's been 2 awful games. Very fun fact, it's the only time Indy hasn't let up a goal all season. So you'll never sing that. And then I think the other big thing was it felt like we just
20 shots and nothing to show for it.
Yeah, and we also just couldn't find JJ. It felt like he was 1 for 5 on ground duels, only 1 for 1 in aerial duels, only had 29 touches. I think he was one of the lowest, if not the lowest in the game if you played 90. So, just a tough day all around. It just felt like we just had 0 rhythm on offense, and then just giving up the goal allows Indy to completely let off, and which actually plays to the style they want to play anyway. And then it really plays the style that we don't do well in. So again, it just comes down to game state where it just went in their favor. And again, it just goes back to getting that first goal. It's going to keep coming back to that. And even if a team didn't have as much trouble, clawing games back from being down as we have, it still is just a much better place to play in when you have that goal. You have a lot more margin for error. You can play a little bit more of the way you maybe want to play. So just really, really frustrating stuff again.
Definitely. All right. Let's go to your thoughts, and we'll comb through the socials. We'll start on the Defiant 1636 Discord. It was RIFC in 3 and good, bad, and ugly. Chad M had the first response, and I thought it was pretty solid. Can we just do all ugly? And ugly would have, I think we could see one of those this season with some of the performances we put out, Ryan.
I'm actually wondering like what our criteria would be for that. We'll know it when we feel it.
Yeah, like Chad, we will see that ugly, and we will bring it to you. I promise.
I don't know if we did this for the Hartford away game last year, but that would have been an ugly moment.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Portland away this year very well could have too. Andrew Milko has good, lots of shots on goal. Bad that we continue to not finish. Ugly, our points total. Matt Hans talks about us being points out of 4th place, but the 12-point total is pretty ugly right now. And Andrew's RIFC in 3. He's always a legend with these. Stop dicking around. Very, very good. He also replied to Chad's, can we just do all ugly? I've been going through my whole life ugly. So, yes, we can do all ugly.
It's elite.
Leo had good instant impact from Noah and Pity. Bad for all our midfield strength and quality. We either bypass them with long balls, force them to play out from deep in our own half, or use them as a way of getting the ball out wide. We seem so much more dangerous when our midfielders can force issues like Hugo and Pity did at times. Ugly inability to take advantage of a defense that's known this season for an inability to hold leads. RAFC in 3 into the wall. Andrew Gomes had RAFC in 3, and he added me, worst birthday ever. To which I replied, at least I had it better than my friend Ryan. Make sure if you haven't already, check out Hands in Timmy's blogs. Natski's RAFC in 3 was no offense today. His good was none. His bad was no Joe Jaya/Williams. His ugly had an opportunity to move up in the standings. Ben J's good was created many opportunities. Bad, Eric Dick continues to shut down RAFC. Ugly, most of our created opportunities ended in wild shots that can't find the target. Dave Audette had tons of shots. Bad, nothing to show for it. Ugly, not being able to keep momentum for longer than a single game. RAFC in 3, Dick's a dick. We also had Taris with good, the cocktails at the Rhodium Green Room, which I actually went to the guild yesterday, and my wife and a couple of the other women there picked up some of those, and you can bring them into the tasting room too, Ryan. So you can get cocktails and do that when they're open. So
I would prefer to spend the rest of the episode talking about that. That sounds lovely.
Yeah. I don't know. Kelly had some yellow looking drink, and everyone else we were with had some espresso martinis, and I just hung it down with Warren G, my guy. Bad, the match. Ugly, the result. RAFC in 3 on to Westchester. I wish it was Westchester away, after these couple performances. Chad came back with his good 20 shots, 6 on target. Bad, Dick saw them all. Ugly, couldn't even squeeze 1 point out of it. RAFC in 3, they can't finish. Tyler's good was perspective. Bad was Dick. Ugly was 9th place on June 1st. 1 real June game was RAFC in 3, and real was in parentheses. So thank you to everyone who wrote in on the Defiance Discord. We'll shift gears, see what else we got. On Instagram, we had the legendary 006 with good shots. Bad, no shots that were hard on Dick. Ugly, no look goal for the loss. Ugly 1A, Williams open look shot inside the box that missed the net. And then we didn't have any RFCs and 3s or good, bad, and ugly in the traditional sense on Facebook, but we did have quite a bit of comments.
Facebook just goes rogue every time. I love it.
I love it. It goes rogue. Clifton Humphrey said their game needs work. You aren't sure who's going to show up. Consistently inconsistent, like we kind of talked about in the open, to which Stephen Conley also says yes to inconsistent. And then Rudy Lorenz, FQB was talking about it in the chat right now. Changes are definitely needed and fast. So whether that's, the managerial level, whether that's some players that need to potentially go or be brought in, I'll leave that up for debate. But thank you to everyone who wrote in. Make sure you check out all of our posts after the match. You can find them on all the social media platforms. Share your takes. We'll read them on air and pick the best one for our episode title. So a lot of dick talk in that, which makes me happy.
Listen, our audience they never disappoint. While sometimes we're disappointed with what happens on the pitch, our audience never disappoints off it, and that's what you love to see.
Han says we have time to find consistency. Agree that it's frustrating. We don't have it yet. The happy clapping is going to be brought up a lot.
My issue with that is like he's not wrong. Like we do. It's just like it completely discounts what we saw for the entirety of last year. Like a lot of the problems that we talk about are not like, oh, they didn't start in March. They started in March of last year. And that's my issue with it is that it's now, we're now on, we're a third of the way through the season of the following year. And we still have not found like the answers to a lot of the problems we continue to face. So my issue is progress versus like inconsistency, like from a team that's had the exact same coach and general manager and a lot of the same players, especially throughout the spine of the team. Like that's the core issue to me.
All right. You ready?
Let's do it. All right, everybody. So we are brought to you by InFocus again. So, you know what? We should try to get a like eyeglasses sponsorship for this segment.
Ooh.
If you're an ophthalmologist, hit us up. But so InFocus here. So when we look at this game, I already mentioned this. So 22 crosses in the second half. So why did that freak me out when I started seeing that happen? And so here, if you see, and if you're listening on the podcast, this is going to be pretty visual, but this is a touch map for our game here. And you just see that nothing happened in the middle of the pitch. You could drive a semi truck through the middle of the pitch, and there was just no touches in there. A couple touches in the box, but basically everything was out to the wings or with our center backs, and just there was absolutely nothing through there. So it really forces us to go wide, and it just becomes very predictable, and there's much less danger out there. Like it's a lot easier.
Leo nailed that in his Good, Bad, and Ugly about totally bypassing the midfield. And, like Ryan said, for those of you listening on the audio version, pop on the YouTube, hit this timestamp 2701 and check out this graphic because it shows you the gulf that is the midfield.
It's great. It's one of those things like when I put in all the data, it was spitting it out. I was like, oh, I wonder if it's really going to make the point as clearly as I want it to. And it's just like this ring around the middle of the pitch. And there was a moment like around I think it was like the 85th minute when I was doing my rewatch. And it's just like, it's out in the left wing and Clay is just in the midfield all by himself. Like there's not a single other player like around him besides Indy players. So it's just like, you're just creating the ball is where the other team wants it at that point. And that's what bothers me so much about this is you're making the game easier for the other team. You're stressing them out significantly less. And like, you're just also unable to create any better opportunities that way.
Mm-hmm.
So
this visual, I think, is, one of the greatest encapsulations of what people were talking about on their socials, what we've been trying to talk about. It's really telling.
And it's a habit we've gotten into. It just, to me, it's like, it's what we do when we just don't have any other answers. And I think that's what bothers me. It's like, we've kind of given up on any other routes through. Mm-hmm. So we're going to do this. I think that's what literally bothers me when we start switching the wingers. Cause like when the minute we put Jose on the left, like he's always going to favor going outside and crossing it. That's just his preferred foot. When Noah's out on the right, like he's going to want to go to his right foot and cross it. Like they obviously can mix it up a bit, but they definitely, especially Jojea, is much more left foot dominant. So wherever you put his left foot, like that's where he's going to go. And I have been preferring when he's on the right wing and he's using the left foot to curl in worldies into the top coast. So that's always tough. And if we go to the next slide here, so one thing that has kind of sprung up. So I was looking into the kind of just checking in on the advanced metrics. And when I say advanced metrics, I'm talking about like XG, which is expected goals. So
the ones that we were leading the league in a lot of the underlying ones.
Yeah, which we weren't at the time. But I have seen this kind of creep up. So while we've been frustrated with performances, our expected goals has been going up. And this one really stood out to me because if you remember the full-time slides, it was like 1.82 XG for a down. And I was like, there is not a world in which this game was like we should have scored 2 goals. Like I can't even like think of a moment we should have had 1. So I started thinking about it, right? So we're currently in 8th in expected goals per game. But the other side of this is we're 2nd in shots for per game. And this game was a game again where we had like 20 shots. And that's been a thing this year. Like we've definitely have not been shot shy. We've been shooting a ton. And what that leads to is we're actually the 2nd worst in expected goals per shot. And to me, what that's just screaming is like we just are not getting good looks.
This is your gamification of XG take.
Yeah. So I just was like, are we like, I'm joking in terms of like gamifying XG, but like you can really make yourself feel good with like just, hey, we got a lot of shots. It's okay. Good day at the office. When there really wasn't. I can't think of anywhere like Eric Dick has been a menace to us in the past. Like he's a phenomenal goalkeeper. I can't think of a single time where I was like, wow, he really, really like stood in his head for that one. Like he had a game where I think he just was kind of standing there catching balls for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think we made him work hard. I really don't. And you looked at that XG, and I was actually surprised to see it at 1.83 for the full game because I didn't think we threatened. And you look at the second worst XG per shot in the league, so it was just the sheer magnitude of shots I think that led to that versus anything being any kind of quality.
Yeah, and for the season, right? Like we're significantly higher in expected goals per game than we were last year. Last year we were almost dead last in the league. It's just really the fact that we're just shooting so much more. And yeah, I mean, to Andrew's point, like it's better than last year when we refused to shoot. Like to me, there's got to be some happy medium here. To me, what I really like to see is just better shooting, like creating more shot chances and more shot opportunities that are like quality. That's really where it comes to, and that's where, as part of the recipe, which Matt, if you go to the next slide, we'll give an update on. Like,
and even before that, this comes up in the chat. Pawtucket Jay says the 4-1 was against Brooklyn, though. It does give him. They're talking about Kano beyond belief in the chat right now. It gives him a little bit of grace, but I think the 4-1 against Brooklyn was more of an indictment about Brooklyn and what they are as a team, as to what our potential ceiling is as a team. I just think that Brooklyn team was very poor. I think it would have been 7 or 8 if not for Jackson Lee standing on his head, making saves of the week. Probably had like multiple that would have been in the running for it.
Guys, Brooklyn is very bad. Like they're an expansion
I think
team.
that is an extreme outlier that when you're kind of looking at the success or inconsistencies of this RIFC team throughout the season, you have to pull that one from the data set because I think that is just a complete outlier.
Yeah, I mean that team is struggling big time, and like the fact that if anyone watched any of their game against Jacksonville yesterday, like those are two teams who are very bad, and unfortunately, we only currently have 4 points against those two teams.
Right. Here you go.
Yeah. So like what we were just talking about, right? So like we're not creating a lot of like opportunities to score. They're like very low quality shots. And that's why here big chances greater than 2 is part of the winning recipe, because that means you're actually creating quality. You're creating opportunities to score that are, and it doesn't mean you score them every single time, right? They're a high quality chance, doesn't mean you score them. But we just do better when we're actually creating those types of opportunities. The other parts of this winning recipe we talked about was possession below 50%, having tackle win rate above 65%. And the part of this that I forgot to kind of add into the mix was scoring first. So did we score first? That's kind of like at this point a binary of like yes or no if we are going to win or not. And you'll be shocked to hear, Matt, if you hit the slide, we went 0 for 4 last night. So we were at 54% possession. We only won 52% of our tackles. We had 0 big chances, and we didn't score first. So this isn't to say that we have to hit on all 4 to win games. We've won plenty of games not hitting on all 4, but I don't know what the stat is when we've not hit any of them. So yeah, it's
can't be very good.
It definitely can't be, because like this, the statistical profile, and then like we always joke like stats versus eye test. Like this one was one where I actually had to go back and be like, I don't think the stats are telling the story of this game, because my eyes were, I wanted to poke them out at the end of the game.
Well, the XG speaks to that too, right?
Yep. Yeah. So my biggest concern with this game is it looked like a team that had lost ideas, especially against a team that has not been keeping the ball out of the net. Like this isn't some like defensive master stroke team that like comes out there. Like literally the announcers the entire game kept being like, well, Rhode Island's going to score eventually. But to me, it just looked like we had no idea on how we were going to do that. And that's the concerning part. Like it's okay to go on stretches where we struggle on certain parts of the pitch. But again, this has been a particular area that we've struggled with since the beginning of last season, and that's what scares me.
Yeah, I think it's definitely concerning, especially when you've had a lot of these players are in year 3 with this club. You do have a handful that are, year 1 or 2, but you have a lot of players, a lot of core players that have been here all 3 years, and you would think you would see some growth in areas like this and metrics like this where we continue to struggle, and it leads to us continuing to drop points.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that bothers me too is like, and I've said that probably 10 times in the past couple minutes, but like,
what really grinds my gears, my hands.
But like, we found a couple of things that are working. Like again, like Jojea on the right wing has been probably the best like bit of offense we've had.
Sure.
I don't think we've really found out the left wing yet. I think, Leo, he's shown some interesting signs, but like he hasn't really gotten going. I don't think
I'd love to see Pity move out wide and maybe bring Noah back in as that false 9.
Sure. I mean, like, I don't think we've really figured out the like kind of attacking midfielder position. Like we've seen Pity play okay there. We've seen Amos come in there. I don't think either of them have really done what you'd hope for a number 10 creative midfielder to be doing in that position. I don't think we've taken learnings from how to get the best out of JJ in terms of who his partner is there. So there's just a lot of things that, again, are multi-year problems that I just don't feel like we're any closer to solving. And that's what scares me.
Yeah. And, that's why I know Hans was all upset that we called the Brooklyn game out for being because of the, opponent, and now we lose to a good team and we're shit. But it's the inconsistency and like not sticking with the system, not sticking with the style. If it was to try to hit them on the counter, there was no build-up play to that. We've seen JJ had the one aerial duel 1 out of 1. So it wasn't trying to play to him, let him hold it up, run behind. It was 22 crosses in the second half, like you mentioned. Like, why did these things keep changing? Why did these things keep going so out of the realm of what we've been doing game to game and not working?
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing, right, is like if you experiment, you leave yourself open to it not working, which is okay. Like that, you need to experiment, you need to evolve. The problem is like there's enough stuff that we should be sticking with that's worked okay, and then the minute we just abandon that, and we have it doesn't seem like we have like a plan B beyond that. And that's the issue is this team has, it's funny because we praise the team for versatility in their players. And, like look at Noah. Noah came in, plays a number 10, plays a left winger, and played as a right wing back in this game, which is fantastic. But in doing so, like, did you get the best out of Noah in that one? Like Pity comes in, he plays left wing, he plays center mid. Like it's just like we're kind of chopping and changing and just trying to hope it works out versus having like really clear ideas on how to get the best out of both our team and against that opponent. And again, this is not like, Jose Mourinho's Chelsea. Like Indy's not like some defensive stalwart team. Like this is a team that ships goals. Like
goals.
Yeah, the announcers couldn't stop saying how much Rhode Island FC was definitely going to score. But the announcers also, and again, like that's why I didn't mind them. Like I felt like they understood what was happening. They kept being like, Rhode Island FC is going way too slow. Like they're not progressing the ball quickly. And like, it's so much easier as a defense to be. It's same thing in basketball, right? To be settled. And if we just keep letting defense settle and then going out wide and then cupping and crosses, like that's significantly easier to deal with than like, wingers running at fullbacks and play through the midfield when like the kind of you can drag some center backs out. Like, yeah, it's like there's so many learnings and so many opportunities out there for us to try and implement and exploit. It just seems like we're not doing that.
Yeah, you mentioned the lack of a plan B. I think Pawtucket J nailed it. Plan B is pass backwards. It's that backwards, sideways passing that we all grew so frustrated with last season. We see it again and we see it again. And it's really hard, to Tyler's point, to keep perspective through all that.
Yeah, I mean, and I said it all last year. I don't mind the backwards passing, but it's like the backwards passing needs to do... The point of backwards passing is to lure the other team out and to like move them. Like that's what you're trying to do is you're trying to shift the thing. When you go backwards and the other team knows that they can just take a deep breath and sit there because you're not going to make them nervous by moving or creating any sort of opportunity off it. That's the problem. So like, again, I think we're a very easy team to game plan against at this point. And that's a lot of these things bother me in terms of like tactically how we're deploying the team, how we're setting the team up to succeed. And like, the fact that I just find that there's a very explicit laden rant I went on last year about how it must be really easy to play against us. And yeah, I mean, against Indy, it was kind of similar where like we weren't pressing hard. We weren't making them nervous and we weren't getting any shots in this game. I don't know if I mentioned this. We had, so we had 20 shots in this one. Only 6 were on target. Only 2 of the shots in the box were on target. And then 6 of the shots in total were headers. So, like, again, going back to this whole, like, XG nonsense, like, it just was a game where, like, Eric Dick had to do nothing. Like, we didn't make him nervous. We didn't make him work. Right. We didn't make their center backs work at all. Like, genuinely, like, they did not have to do anything. Their fullbacks, all they had to do was just keep the wingers outside, even though the wingers were trying to go inside. So, like, it wasn't a game that was hard to play. And
let them cross it to no one.
Yeah, like, and they even another thing that Indy, I really like these announcers way more than you. They mentioned they're like Indy has a short squad. They're not really going to probably use all their subs tonight, and they didn't need to. Their guys weren't gassed. They didn't really have much to do in the second half. So again, it's just a really, really frustrating game. And I think the reason it's so frustrating is because if it's not the same as what we've seen so many times, it rhymes really hard with it, and that's what bothers me.
It does. It's same thing over and over again. And
I talk Monday.
What I was really upset with, and I know I've used the word happy clapper on here a lot, and we looked at a lot of people saying, "Oh, this wasn't a really bad performance. This was something to be proud of." Matt Hands, Timmy Sclafani included. But you look at these metrics, and didn't generate shit. They didn't do anything that put them in the position to deserve a chance at winning, and I think that's the biggest takeaway. So I think anyone who kind of sells you on the fact that was, that was a really good performance. You look at all the metrics, you look at what Brian broke down tonight, it was not a good performance. It was a very easy defensive effort for Indy, a very easy defensive effort for Eric Dick. And I think a lot of the stats, you mentioned it, the stat test, the eye test that we always talk about, stats kind of flattered us in this one. Stats lied in this one because the eye test was very, very different.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm looking at you, XG.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that was weird about this one is like I watched the game kind of on and off. We were hosting some people this weekend.
Thanks for subscribing, Rob.
Let's go. Yeah, like I kind of watched on and off the game, and so I did a rewatch. But I usually, if I rewatch or before when I'm prepping for the show on Sunday, I really try hard not to read anything anyone else says about the game before the show. But I had already seen like Timmy's blog, I've seen Hans blog, and I was like, oh man, we must have been like better than I paid attention to. And I was like looking for it all second half of like, where is this like resurgence like I'm expecting? And all I saw was like cross, and like most of them didn't even end in a shot. So yeah, to me, it's more of it's again, I've said this like 12 times. It's a symptom of what we've seen before versus like some okay game that we just like mismanaged.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's probably a good point to kind of put a needle in that one.
Do you think we have? I was gonna say, do you think we've set the world record for YouTube comments with the word "dick" in it?
I hope so. If not, I'd like to think we're top 5.
It'd be an honor for us to have that one.
That's it. But up next for RIFC, Saturday, June 6th at 7:30 p.m. The Tide hosts Westchester SC at Tidewater. Westchester is in a rough bit of form. They did have a 2-2 draw at home versus the Portland Hearts of whatever. Richmond beat them 1-0. Fort Wayne beat them 1-0. The Cosmos beat them 3-2 in a nice little fan skirmish in that one. And last time out, they lost 1-0 at FC Naples. So this is a team that's struggling, although RAFC legend Connor McGlynn is, really holding down their attack and scoring some goals this season and playing very, very well. Hopefully this is you would think this would be an easy Prinks Cup win, but with kind of our outlook on that now and that loss in Portland, it'll be interesting to see what kind of squad Cano Smith goes with for this one. You'd have to imagine it's still strong because they're not mathematically eliminated yet, but very well could be after this round. But expecting to see some rotation, not full, I would say, for this one. But I don't know. If Logan Dorsey's starting at forward for this one, I'm not going to be feeling too good.
No, so I think you nailed it. The thing that's been really pinging around in my head is like who starts this game. I wouldn't be shocked if we see a bit of like Portland where it's kind of a mixed bag in terms of like, I wouldn't be shocked if Noah gets a start. I wouldn't be shocked. I think like Pity now, do we consider him a normal starter or not? I really would advocate, as you mentioned, for him starting JJ. I think he needs to see the ball go in again. But yeah, it's gonna really come down to that squad, and boy, oh boy, is it going to be tough if that game does not go RIFC's way.
Yeah, I mean, if you thought the crowd chants were bad in Portland, and that doesn't go RFC's way at home, I think things are going to be looking ugly, and we might be in for a funeral podcast next weekend.
You know what I'm going to be thinking about the entire game is those Palomas that we had in Westchester.
And how awkward Timmy was holding his margarita glass. I had that.
Could just stopped at how awkward Timmy was.
That's true.
Yeah.
That one of the most fun away trips. That's why I mentioned in the opener. I kind of wish it was away. I think we need that. Although Portland theoretically should have been a very fun away trip as well.
It was that really was. I know we talked about it a few episodes ago. It was like the highlight of last season. It was the high point. Everything was ahead of us. The stadium was opening. We smashed them up. He played the formation I wanted him to see him play the whole time. It was beautiful. And
something about hard dick and bubblegum.
Hard dick and bubblegum in the parking lot. Just a beautiful day. So much pizza.
That's it. We had a lot of pizza. And I wish we were good at having that kind of pizza on Saturday. But if you stuck with us through all this, smash that like button if you haven't already. And now's the time. Let us know your score prediction for that RAFC Prinks, formerly Jaeger-Meister Cup game. Put those score predictions in the lineup. In the chat, I'm sorry. I think it's very lineup dependent. That's where I was going with that. I think we see Logan Dorsey start, and I'm not going to be too happy with it. I'm going to go 1-1, Ryan. I'm very reluctant to predict a win based on kind of what this could mean for us, and I think that could be pretty disastrous for how people are feeling.
So I have an idea. What if because I so far the Prinks Cup has not been good to us, but we were great with the Jägermeister Cup. So what if we kind of start a little movement here amongst the Tide Talk faithful, and we treat it like it was the Jägermeister Cup, and people really bring the Jaeger bottles out? Like let's have the tailgate we deserve on this one.
I mean, I'm all for it. I just think the team might not be. Nothing to do with the Jägermeister.
Enough of that. I mean,
no. Nothing to do with any kind of pregame festivities or shenanigans going on. Just them not showing up on the goddamn pitch.
Yeah, I mean, we can only do so much on this podcast. My hope is that people just have a good time at the game.
I'll give you some time to filibust too. We got Dave with 1-0 RAFC in there. Ben Johnson said, "Bruh, Elio's French bread pizza day. High school pizza is all we deserve."
My mouth started watering, which I don't know what that says about me.
Yeah, I mean, French bread Fridays at school is always good. Ben Johnson's also got a 17-1 RFC win.
Ben Johnson's having a better night than I am. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Quadros has a 3-2 RFC. Dorsey winner at the death on a scuff shot that fools the keeper. God, I hope he's wrong. Oh, man. I will just shoot lightning bolts into 205 from there. FQB's got 4-1 RFC, and Matt Hands says Kano is safe for another season. And Hands also going on to say we aren't out of the Prinks yet, so I don't think there's massive rotation. Probably a few changes. Probably Logan Dorsey. Sarah goes on to say if they lose on kids' night and ruin my child's chance of a positive man of the match paddle experience, I will be leading the Kano out chant from 116. Pawtucket Jay's got 2-0 us. Ben Johnson says, I'm the Lulu. It is known. It is known, Khaleesi. But that's what we've got from the chat. Electric chat tonight. Again, electric chat. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Ryan, give us your score prediction.
I don't even want to say this out loud because I feel like when I do this, we lose. But I think it's gonna be 3-1 RFC. Actually, no, I'm gonna go 3-0. Get the donuts out. I think we're gonna do it.
I'm gonna pull up the RFC Rhode Island Sportsbook app and gonna bet Westchester based on.
Put your house on it, everybody. Yeah. I don't have anything to back that up. I just think they've been very bad. We've been good sometimes, and I hope that sometimes is Saturday.
To quote the great Italian poet laureate Gattuso, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. I think that's a perfect summation of this RAFC.
Somebody clip that. I'm going to clip it if you don't.
Timmy's going to clip it. You know he is. I've been watching too much Tucci in Italy. All right. Any final thoughts, Ryan? Chris Peterson's got a 2-1 good, guys.
Hey, let's turn it around Saturday. That's what I got.
Or don't. So make us do a 3-hour podcast about us losing to a League One team in a cup game again. That'll be good.
On kids' night.
On kids' night. I will say, I've seen the Tifo. The Tifo is very good. Be ready for it.
Don't make Henry Hand sad. That would make me really upset.
That's it. That'll wrap things up for this one. Remember, Tide Talk is more than just a podcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere you scroll for daily social media content. Click that link in this episode description. Follow all of our accounts. I've been your host, Matt. For my good friend Ryan, he'll be looking for a pen before next game. But thanks again for joining. We'll see you next time. And as always, up the tide.
Up the tide.